if you want to get better at sales, there's some really important things you need to understand. How can we get another 20 clients this week? I went from 50,000 to 78,000, and it's a skill I had to learn, and it's a skill I had to put time into learn. So if you're an online coach looking to build a big fitness business, one of the best people I've learned the most from is Grant Cardone, and today I'm going to share the 5 biggest things I've learned throughout my business building career and share them with you. Now, for those who don't know, Grant Cardone is a bit of a G in terms of the business space. What I love is the fact that when he was around my age, like early 30s, he pretty much flat broke. He also went bust again in the 2008 recession, and then he came back bigger than ever. Dude's now a billionaire and 63 years old, but doesn't look it. And teaches a lot of frameworks and concepts that I learned that completely changed my life. And to give some context in terms of how it changed my life, I used to drive around in my Mercedes car as an estate agent, listen to his podcast all the time. It's called the Cardone Zone, still now available. So anyone who's listening to this, you're at a full-time job, you're looking to scale your business, I want to give you the inspiration I got from Grant. And today I'm going to share with you the lessons I learned that really transformed my life. Now, the first lesson is the 10X rule. If you haven't read, Grant has a phenomenal book called the 10X rule. And this is just basically about thinking bigger. Because in particular, if you're from the UK, we're so small-minded in terms of our thought processes. So instead of thinking like, oh, I want to get an extra 1 to 2 clients, fuck that. Let's 10X it. How can we get another 20 clients this week? Think bigger. And then even if you don't achieve your goals, chances are you can take bigger actions, and it's going to help you in terms of having a bigger business and having more impact in income and success in life. One of the big things I love that Grant does is he talks a lot about something that now I'm in that position I understand more, and it's this. You having a little business that does, let's say, $100,000 a year is actually quite difficult. You having a bigger business that you 10X that does $1 million a year is actually easier. Why? Because when you have a business that makes $1 million a year versus one that does $100,000 a year, you're not the one pressing all the buttons and do all the work. You have a leverage. Same for me trying to go from $1 million a year to $10 million a year. The bigger the business gets, the more leverage you have. And if you look at someone like Grant's position right now, he's like million X from where I am right now, obviously, but he has such a big team that he doesn't not do anything to do with the front end of stuff. He's not involved in the day-to-day. And the goal with all the entrepreneurs we work with in 7-figure scaling systems is this. We help you focus on building the business and working on the business, not working in the business. Because you being a busy fool and pressing all the buttons isn't going to get you very far. I know, for example, I'm talented to some degree and very hardworking and relentless. I could hustle to 7 figures a year on my own with barely any team. The reality is that's not sustainable nor enjoyable, and it's not going to be something that's going to really be able to scale beyond that point. So when you understand the 10X rule and how you can apply that with leverage, that's when you build. So everything you do in your business, think 10X it. And I remember a good story about this actually. So if you haven't listened to any of the episodes I've done with a good friend of mine, Frank Den Blanken, he was helping me a few years ago. I remember doing about 50,000 a month at the time. And I said to Frank, I was like, look, my goal is to do 60,000 next month. I think I can do it. And at that point, he was like, don't be a pussy. You can do way more than that. Aim for 70. And do you know what happened? I went from 50,000 to 78,000, way more than I even anticipated. And that's because someone's pushing me and setting higher levels for me to achieve. Now, the reality of one of the reasons why I see clients do so well when they come to us is because they're a small fish in a big pond. You being the best person in your gym or your shitty little mastermind doesn't really serve you to be the best you can be. You have to surround yourself with greatness. And the 10X rule really applied to that. One of the reasons I moved to Dubai is the 10X rule. For example, last week I went for dinner with 2 friends of mine. One of them has a software company that does $1 million a month. And he basically said to me that he can get me maybe 20 to 40,000 leads for free, emails, phone numbers of my exact ICA. That would literally double my business overnight. So this is where you talk about the 10X mentality, is these small compounding decisions you make will completely transform your life. And having the 10X mentality in terms of putting income and investing into your business, 10X in your action in terms of you do every fucking day. Because the big thing I see with so many people is they say they want it, but they don't have the minerals when the rubber meets the road and it's time to actually put in the work. And the reality is you building your business is hard, But you building a small business is actually harder than 10xing and building a big business. So big thing you want to do if you want to be successful, don't play small. Play big, win big, get leverage, 10x your business. And this is one of the big things I learned from Grant. Number 2 is obsession is natural. And you want to be obsessed or be average. That's a good saying, Grant says. If you're not obsessed with your business, like today is a Sunday, it's 1:30 p.m. in Dubai, and I'm sitting here filming podcasts because I'm excited to talk about this, because this is something that came to me in a vision when I was at the gym, mid-set dying on a leg press. I was like, this is a really good idea to talk about, because Grant's one of the biggest people who've had an impact on my life, who I look up to still. Now, the reality is this: you have to be obsessed or you're going to be average. Because if you're not obsessed, someone like me who is obsessed is going to beat you. And the reality is, not everything in your business is going to be obsessed by. Behind the camera, I've got a whiteboard with some admin shit I need to do on it. That I'm not so much obsessed with. Me, in terms of growing the business and getting to the next level, helping people and like pushing impact, that has a huge amount of meaning for me, and that I'm fucking obsessed with. Same, I'm obsessed with training. Same, being the best I can mentally, best I can be physically. Obsession is what leads you to greatness. And the most important thing you need to understand is other people won't understand your obsessions, and that's fine. And if someone says you work too much, good. If someone says you have no work-life balance, good. Like, it's your life, and if you feel at certain points you need more balance, go on vacation, chill out a bit. Like next weekend, I'm going to a hotel at Jumeirah Beach in Dubai for 2 nights. Probably not going to work for 2-3 days. But I grinded the last 3-4 weeks super hard. And this is a really important thing to understand. So here's a really important actionable point for you to use right now. Find one point of your business to be obsessed with for the next month. Whether that's acquiring more leads, whether that's improving your closing percentage, whether it's getting better client transformations or getting more referrals. Have one big lever that you pull on that you get obsessed with every month. One of the big things we really help our clients do is identify what the number one thing is they need to do in their business to get them to the next level. Because there's always going to be one thing that's not just going to marginally move the needle, but it's going to fucking break the needle and take you to the next level. Number 3 is overcoming fear with action. Because the reality is you're always going to have fear in business. There's always going to be things that are going to make you uncomfortable. There's always going to be problems. And generally, the more money you make, the problems you have. The more problems you have, the bigger the business you have, and vice versa. If you have no problems in life, you probably don't have a successful life. So this is an important thing to understand. Now, the quickest way to deal with problems is fucking jump in with 2 feet. Swallow the Frog, if you haven't read that book. So one of the most important things about dealing with this is literally whatever is the most uncomfortable thing you probably don't want to do is probably the thing in the business you need to do the absolute most and get ticked off the list. As soon as you've done that, you'll feel more chilled and more relaxed. And one of my favorite sayings for dealing with stress, uncertainty is this: action beats anxiety. Just deal with it, jump in with both feet and tackle the bull head on, and you will beat it. Lesson number 4 is become a sales sensei and become a master of sales. So everything in life is a sell. This is a really important thing to understand, whether it's finding a future partner, whether it's stopping kids eating junk food, whether it's you want to buy the dream house. Like, everything is going to be a sale and negotiation, the skill of persuasion. The better you get at sales, the easier life will get. So this probably means it's a valuable thing to learn, right? So if we look at terms of how Grant Cardone is great in terms of teaching sales, his background originally was developing car sales dealerships and helping them grow and teach them sales training. So he knows a thing or two about that. He has a really good book in terms of called The Closer's Survival Guide, really good to listen to in terms of Audible, lots of like objection handling and things like that you can take from it. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. And if you want to get better at sales, there's some really important things you need to understand. There's a 3-step framework of the 3 things that make you good at sales. Number 1 is giftedness. Now that's going to be your genetic ability. So like, I'm naturally very introverted, so I found it very difficult to get good at sales. And it's a skill I had to learn, and it's a skill I had to put a time in to learn. Because if you haven't put the time into something, you can't expect to be the master. It's like, I've never played guitar, so I'm not going to expect to be a master at playing guitar out the gate, right? The more reps you put in, the better you get, which means the second thing that makes the biggest difference in terms of you being good at sales is reps. The more calls you take, the better you get at closing. Because guess what? On a sales call, selling a certain product, there's a definitive amount of questions and scenarios that can eventually come up. Once you learn to start to master all these different objections, whether it be time related, whether it be finance related, whether it be spouse related, whether it be self-belief, which are the 4 different things it can be, that will help you in terms of learning the skills to come over those. And when you're taking reps for sales calls, an important thing I'd understand is if you get a call that's a bit of a poor quality prospect, what I would actually do is this. I would think about it as a live role play training call where you literally practice on the prospect in terms of objecting handling and keep going over it. An easy tip that I'd always try though is this. Most people don't ask directly enough. So once you pitch someone the price, I'd say to them, how would you like to get started today? And then if they say, I need to think about it, whatever bullshit excuse they come up with, your goal is to handle that and get 3 no's. Don't get off the phone until you've got 3 no's. So those are the big things that I've learned from Grant is in terms of the sales skills. And the third part of the 3 things that I was talking about is actually skill. So sales is a skill you can learn. And if you've never been trained in sales, you're probably not going to have a skill. So you've got giftedness, reps, and skill. Now, how we help our clients get so fucking good at sales is this. With them, we do group sales call training with them. And this is the key, because you don't know what you don't know. And these big mistakes are literally screwing you and ruining the future for you and your future family by not understanding the basic skills you should have. And you're paying a huge amount of ignorance tax for that right now. And sales is the quickest way to improve your business. If your sales process in terms of the offer and actually the closing framework isn't optimized, you're leaving a huge amount of money on the table. And this is one of the biggest things we help people with when they first come to us in terms of the biggest needle movers we can make. And in terms of if you want to have fun and enjoy this in a live role play environment, we'll actually be doing a lot of sales training at our upcoming mastermind event in Dubai on the Palm on the 10th and 11th of November. So if you want to get a ticket to that, hit the link below. Limited to 10 sit-in spaces, as this is normally reserved to mastermind members. And the 5th thing, a big lesson I've learned from Cardone when coming to now is this: never settle. Always set your standards higher. The biggest problem I see with so many people and why they get stuck is they're settling. Your business is stuck at 10 to 12K a month because you've settled. You're not focusing on your own personal development. You're not hanging around with more successful people. Like, a lot of people think they're Billy Big Balls in the online coaching world to make 10 to 12K a month. But you come join our mastermind, for example, it's like you're a small fish in a big pond. And that's what I'm looking for in my own life. Like, that's why I moved to Dubai, because I want to be surrounded by greatness and other people who are higher levels than me. Because I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it too. So the big thing for you is don't settle, achieve what you can achieve and really push the boundaries, and don't have limiting beliefs. I see there's a lot of people who are from Ireland or the UK or from rural areas have really restrictive beliefs of like, I can't do it because of, or what will they think? Like, this is a framework to think about. Success is the greatest revenge, and it's your duty to be the best person you can be and achieve as much success as you can. Because it's something I really believe in, is that the day you die, you meet the person you could have become. And that's a really horroring framework when you think about you not performing at your peak state and achieving what you should really achieve. Now, these are the 5 biggest lessons I've learned from Grant Cardone. Drop a comment below which one is your favorite and which one you've taken the most impact from. If you're a trainer and looking to take your business to the next level, make sure you're at our mastermind event, 10th, 11th November in Dubai. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Send this to a friend who needs to blow up the business, and we'll see you next episode soon.